My name's Elise Pickett, and I am the owner of the Urban Harvest. And my goal and passion in life is to teach people how to grow food. This space is in the middle of a city, and it is only 1/10 of an acre, but I am able to provide for a significant portion of my family of four's needs just from this little micro homestead. I grow vegetables, fruits, plant medicine, and everything in between. We spend on average between $50 and $150 weekly on our grocery bills because of what we are able to produce here on the site. When I first purchased this property, it was an absolute wreck, and I had to spend a significant amount of time converting our weedy lawn into sheet mulch, putting in raised beds and fruit trees. But now that the hard part of installing everything is done, I spend maybe an hour or so a week. Seasonal fluctuations, but not very much time. I'm a busy mom of 2 children. We love to travel, and I am able to have what I like to call a modern lifestyle while still being able to homestead and provide for my family. Once I got the raised bed garden started, I moved into the front of the yard. So let's go take a look there. So once I got the food production going, I moved into the front yard because I didn't want to mow. And this is also the place that I was starting to establish some of my fruit trees and some of the native pollinator plants and beneficial insect attractors. So this one here is Barbados cherry. It's 200% of your vitamin C in one berry. My kids will, like, whenever it's in bloom, they'll just walk by as we go to the car and take their vitamin. And then this one here is a strawberry guava. So all of these are just small fruit trees that you can tuck in here and there as room allows. So this tree I get asked a lot. It has these beautiful white blooms, and people will ask me, what's the tree or the shrub that's out front? And I'll tell them it's moringa, which is also the tree of life. And this is something that I personally think that pretty much everybody should plant if they have the capability. So you can eat the leaves raw, you can toss them into smoothies, you can put them in salads, because it's a nutritional powerhouse. We also have a free seed library, which we have stocked with heirloom seeds that do well here in our climates. And it's the same concept of the book libraries, where you bring some, take some. These little points of connection with my community are so important to the overall mission of people learning where their food comes from. Elise, thank you for what you do. I'm excited to learn and start my first garden project. I live 10 blocks away. Hopefully we can meet sometime. Dream big, Stephanie. So the first thing that I did when I moved to our new property 5 years ago was to start a massive compost pile, 9 yards worth, and get my annual raised beds in. They are a lot more work. I'm constantly out here maintaining these beds, but it's quick production. And so we were lucky enough to be able to harvest our first salad the day we moved into the house. When I work in my garden, I try to mimic nature as closely as possible, and that may seem like it's just for environmental impact, but honestly, it's more for maintenance. In my garden, I don't spray, and that's because I allow the natural system to come into play. And when I mimic nature and replicate what nature would naturally do, it's less work for me. So I don't have to go out there and pick the caterpillars or spray aphids off my plants. The predators in my environment, the birds and the lacewings and the ladybugs, do it for me. So this here is the carrots. This is gonna be the last carrots that I get fresh for the rest of the year. So we do have some nice ones ready to harvest. This one here that's coming up, this is a volunteer in the gardening world. That means I don't have to plant it, which I love. Anything that is low maintenance or self-sufficient is definitely ones that I like to incorporate into the garden because I'm busy, and if I don't have to work harder, why bother? This one's a spinach alternative. So it tastes mostly like spinach. It's kind of not bland, but not in a bad way. Let's see, the nasturtiums are something that you can eat. A lot of people just plant them as a trap crop, which means the aphids really, really like it and they'll go to it, but then They won't look at the edible part of it, so the flowers are edible, as are the leaves, and I like to toss these into my salads just to make the salads like super pretty and delicate looking. We have collard greens here. Collard greens are a really, really good one if you want a lot of production off of one plant. So this plant has been in since fall. It's produced literal pounds worth of produce for me. And as you can see, it's still growing strong. I give it away to neighbors, teachers, family, friends. We feed it to the chickens on a regular basis. We have more collard greens than I possibly know what to do with off of just 3 plants. But everything in here, because I grow year round, is always kind of in transition. So things might not always look neat and pretty because as things die out, I might be saving seed from it, or I might be replacing it with something new. So it's never this like clean, neat, tidy, but it's functional and it's low maintenance, which is really important for me. So this is passion fruit, and it is an incredibly fast-growing fruit tree, vine obviously. It's climbing up a trellis. We used our chain link fence and cattle panel to create this like trellis archway on the side of our house. The first year it just filled in and kind of took over the archway and created our privacy and shade and all that good stuff. The second year I harvested over 200 passion fruit from this plant. So incredibly productive, very fast to produce, and serving so many other components within our landscape. So I also incorporated a lot of fruit trees. Here are my water-loving ones, miracleberry, banana, papaya, and I planted everything kind of closely together because in my system, I try to go for maintenance free. And in nature, it is not normal for this one lone tree to be in the middle of the savanna. When you think about a forest setting, there's lots of trees together. And so that's what I try to recreate here as best I'm able. So as a small space gardener, I want to produce a lot of food in a very small amount of space. And although I do have raised beds, I also find a place for vertical gardens. It's 3 square feet. Almost everybody could find somewhere they have 3 square feet. And you can grow up to 72 plants in that space, which is pretty incredible. But it's just a really great way to increase my production. I love to grow leafy greens in here, herbs, strawberries. I've grown tomatoes, I've grown cucumbers, I've grown collard greens. I had a collard green plant that lasted 3 years in one of these. So very practical, and I think everybody could probably find a little bit of space for something similar to this. So I really went for diversity in this food hedge. We have cherry of the Rio Grande. It tastes like cherries, doesn't look like cherries. This here is sapodilla. It is from Mexico. It kind of tastes a little bit like cinnamon. I love it. Grows really, really well here. We've got star fruits and pineapple. A lot of the fruit trees are upward growth, so this is a nice way to fill in a vine and a low-growing ground cover-esque type plant. This one here is sugar apple. It's got like a custard to it. The flavor is phenomenal. I also have planted in here beans and butterfly pea and peanuts. So we kind of just mixed and melded everything together so that it creates this one cohesive food hedge or fedge. Now let me show you my backyard chicken coop. My biggest takeaway after having chickens for 10 plus years now is automation. I have the coop and the run, which is where they sleep at night and where they spend their day, all together so that I'm not tied to letting them in and out every single morning and night. With the industrial food system, we are so far removed from where our food comes from and how it is made and how the animals are cared for that I really needed or felt an intense drive to reconnect those two pieces. And so part of educating people in their food and where it comes from is one, showing them how to do it, but also what the alternative is. Coming from a point of abundance and sharing knowledge as freely as possible is something that I really truly value and believe in. It's not a one-way street. When I'm able to share knowledge or seeds or whatever the case is, I know that in some form or fashion it will be reciprocated in some way. Thank you all for joining me on this tour of my micro homestead right here in the middle of the city. I really appreciate it. And I hope that you are inspired to start growing a little bit of your own food. Just remember, growing any food is what makes the difference. So scale it up as you're comfortable and start growing.